Welcome to Lakota East High School. It's a scorcher here today in the Hawks Nest. Temperature up to 90 degrees. We have pushed the game back by an hour, but we're finally set. Two teams from the GMC here for their first conference matchup of the year, both coming in 0-1, both losing. Pretty close games. Beck, what do you think about these two teams coming into this one?
Well, they both played top-ranked teams in the state of Ohio. Mason playing number 15 Lincoln Heights. Their offense struggled. Quarterback was just 8 for 18, just 28 yards, no touchdowns, and an interception, barely moved the ball. East, on the other hand, was great with the ball in the air. JT Kitna, 297 passing yards. Zion Neal, 6 catches, 119 yards, 1 touchdown. As we get going here,
kickoff by Goggles. Zion Neal will let it go out of the back of the end zone. And here comes the Lakota East offense. JT Kitna had a good game last week. He threw it over 40 times. What do you think about his performance?
I think he played very well. Leads the GMC in passing yards, like I said, had 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, which wasn't really his fault, got hit on the throw. Looked pretty sharp. Started the game last week with 6 straight screens. Wonder if they'll do it again.
And a big talking point last week, starting running back Ryder Hooks was out. He broke his collarbone during the offseason. He is suited up here tonight, but he's not out there right now, and we don't expect to see him. Chauncey Peck is filling in. He did a good job last week. First handoff here will be to Neal around the right side, and he is still up, fighting for yards. A 5-yard gain to start this game.
Looked like he was going to get taken down there for a loss, but able to get out of it. That's what we saw last week from him. He's a big-time player, makes plays, makes moves, able to get out of a tackle there, turn nothing into something.
And contrast to what we saw last week, 6 screens to start the game for East. Last game against Centerville. Looks like they're switching it up here. Empty backfield on 2nd and 5. Kitna motions Peck. And here a handoff to Chauncey Peck as he finds a hole, and he's going to be about 2 yards short. 3rd down coming up.
Chauncey Peck had a great game last week, filling in for the injured Ryder Hooks. Expect him to do big things here again. Prove what he can do last week.
Yeah, and Chauncey Peck, we didn't really expect to see him week 1, but took up to the challenge, averaged over 4 yards a carry, had over 55 yards receiving, and he's off to a pretty good start here with about a 4-yard gain. 3rd and 2. Kitna gets set in the pistol. This one going to be a keeper to Kitna, trying to find some room, and he's got the first down and a little bit more. First down for the Lakota East Thunderhawks.
Big-time run for JT Kitna, who has had no problems on his ankle to start the year. Big run there.
And what all East fans want to see, Ryder Hooks officially in there. Had the metal rod put in there in his collarbone. He looks set to go. He's lining up out wide. And he is an X factor when he is healthy. Empty backfield. Kitna lines up in the shotgun. Takes the snap, looking. He's going to fire one, and it is caught there. Derek Williams able to moss it there over the safety. Impressive play. First down to the 40-yard line.
And a huge catch for Derek Williams. Only had 2 catches last week. Big play there. Kitna put it right on the money. Looking at that leverage matchup, Mason's corners, their tallest corner is only 5'10". Derek Williams, 6'2" frame, able to just go over the top of him and make that grab.
Ryder Hooks stays in here. They're back into the pistol formation. Kitna takes the snap. First handoff for Hooks on the season, and he's got a big hole. Makes one guy miss. Taken down after a gain of about 10.
While Chauncey did play great last week, I think East fans were missing that a little bit. The big playability from Ryder Hooks. It's great to see him back.
And he was questionable coming in. We should see him splitting about 50-50 with Peck. Peck switches back in here after that long run. First down, and East knocking on the door of the red zone.
A little bit of a tandem duo with what Peck can do and what Ryder Hooks can do.
Kitna in the shotgun takes the snap. Steps back again. He's going to fire to the left, and he's got Derek Williams again. Gain of about 8, 2nd and 2.
Big time throw right there to Derek Williams, and East is moving this ball quick and with authority.
Impressive opening drive so far, but last week, 3rd quarter, they got down into this part of the red zone, and penalties killed them. They cannot have that here.
Well, absolutely. Penalties absolutely destroyed East offense last week, especially down here in the red zone. Got to avoid that here.
No running back out there on this second down. Sorry, first down. As Kitna lines up in the shotgun, he'll fire one to the left side, and Zion Neal's not able to get any leverage. 2nd and 10 coming up.
First incompletion, a little bit overthrown. Going to be 2nd down.
Like to see East taking those shots. You know Kitna's got the arm. Just couldn't find Zion Neal. They connected for a 74-yard touchdown last week.
And that play was huge to get the momentum going. Got to seize it here on the 2nd down.
And you got to think East is looking at that one-on-one matchup on the right. Zion Neal by himself. He'll motion in. This a toss to Peck to the right side. Able to cut inside, and he's got room, and he's going to walk this one into the end zone. East takes an early 7-0 lead.
Untouched into the end zone, made one guy miss. Nobody came close to stopping him. Touchdown East. What did they do it? Do it in just 7 plays, 6 plays?
That was an efficient 7-play drive. They just kept those chains moving, and Chauncey was ultimately able on that toss make one guy miss, and he was gone.
East takes it first. Mason's offense going to have to respond, and they did not do that at all last week against Lincoln Heights. They're going to have to prove something here.
Tyler Gruber for the extra point. Didn't kick any last week, but his first one is good. The junior kicker puts the 7th point on the board for East and an early 7-0 lead for the Thunderhawks.
Lightning fast.
And you got to think John Kitna's happy with that first drive. They weren't able to score in their first one last week. Man, did they score here.
Well, 100%. This is an East team that lost to Mason last year, 24-0, last game of the season in the rain. That's when JT Kitna went down with that injury the game before. Jay Sean Sandar had to step in and play. Couldn't move the ball at all. Complete opposite of what happened last year. East looking on fire.
This East student section is fired up. Mason's got a pretty big student section over there as well. East already out there for the kickoff, and out comes Mason. Mason's offense had some struggles, to say the least, last week.
Definitely, 100%. Just couldn't get the ball moving at all. As a team, they averaged just 0.5 yards a carry. Quarterback only had 28 yards passing with that interception. Their only points came from a fumble recovery that was returned for a touchdown where no one even forced the fumble, and their other 3 points came from a field goal that they got an interception off of in favorable territory. So if East can keep scoring like that, I have a hard time believing that this Mason offense is going to keep up.
Mason offense only 64 yards last week. Can't really win football games if you're having less than 100. Kickoff here is going to be deep. Back to field it here. Mason will take it out, trying to find some room, and he's ultimately stopped by the senior Cohen Reap at about the 21-yard line. Amin Garnett was able to find a little bit of room. He's ultimately stopped, and it will be interesting to see what Mason does here on offense.
100%. Don't think they're going to have a lot of confidence passing the ball, especially going 8 for 18. Running the ball, 15 attempts, only 42 yards. They're going to have to find something.
This O-line going to be a big talking point, and Parker Elam out there was a monster last week with 3 tackles for loss and 2 sacks. Here we go. Sheaf lines up. He'll take the first snap. It's going to be a screen to the right side, and East is there to swallow it up. Big play there by Connor Cruz to end that one in its tracks.
Great solo tackle by Connor Cruz. One thing I noticed from this East defense, last year, East as a whole team only had 5 sacks on the season. Last game, they had 3, which is a huge jump from last year. The D-line played amazing. The whole defense played great. Just some misplays here and there. I think they're looking for a little bit of revenge here against this Mason offense.
Sheaf, well, this time it's going to be a handoff, and he is stuffed by Cohen Reap. What a big hit stick there in the middle.
And that's Cohen Reap, who had 10 tackles last week, 3rd in the GMC with a huge hit there, already forcing a 3 and 9, 3rd and 9.
Adesanya's a big running back, 5'10", 218, but last week just wasn't able to find any holes. And we see again there, couldn't cut back and get anywhere open. It is 3rd down and 7. Let's see what Mason tries to answer with.
Staying in the huddle. A little bit of a long time.
Should be interesting to see if they try the pass with Ashton Sheaf. Didn't have too much success last week. In motion here is done. He'll roll out to the right, trying to find somebody. Flips it to the tight end. He's stopped after a first down there. Good play by Miller Reed.
Well, his longest pass last week only went for 11 yards. They're able to pick up the first down. They like to roll out right and left.
They love their tight ends. You usually see a 2 tight end set out there. Weren't able to get them the ball too much last week. Here they come on first down. They've got a fresh set of downs to play with. See if they try to get this run game going once again. Sheaf still in the shotgun. Adesanya with the carry up the middle. Bounces off of one, but eventually a swarm of East tacklers will tackle him. But that is a big run for about 8.
Adesanya is a big back, staying at 5'10", 218 pounds. Able to barrel through some guys there.
Yeah, and just maybe not the best tackling technique there in the hole. Can't really just expect to hit him with your shoulder. He's a big guy. He'll bounce off of you.
Yeah,
and they've got a fresh set of downs off of that first down run.
Yeah, East got to stop him here. This is a Mason offense that did not look good last week, as we already said. Can't let them get hot.
In the pistol here, Jordan in motion. McDaniel will get it up the middle. Just kidding, he was a keeper to the right, and Sheaf had nowhere to go. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Well, it was a read option, and he was able to shake one, but was not able to shake the tackle.
East defense staying ahead of the sticks here. And Mason's offense is one that if they can run it effectively, they will tire your defensive line out with those big backs.
100%. You got to stop Mason on these run plays. They could not move the ball at all running the ball last week. Got to make sure they can't do it here.
2nd and 10. Stepping back is Sheaf. Throws it out there to the right to McDaniel, who makes one guy miss. He's ultimately stopped close to the first down marker, but I think he'll be about a yard short.
Connor Cruz came up, tried to force the fumble. Couldn't get it out, though. Now it's a 3rd down and 2. Big chance for East here to get their offense back on the field.
Big test for this East D-line coming up. Hired a new D-line coach this offseason.
Mason was just 1 and 11 last week on 3rd downs. Already converted one this game.
East got to exploit those holes they have in that D-line. Looks like a blitz being shown by this East line. And they're coming. Seems like they sent everybody, and the run up the middle is going to be short, I believe. 4th down should be coming up.
Got to think if it was 4th down, they might try and go for it again, just based off how fast the East offense scored. Got to respond here. Can't give them that ball back.
Indeed, 4th down and 1. This is that awkward field position where you don't know if you'll go for it or not.
Yeah, no high school kicker can make it from here, but at the same time, you're past the 50. See what they do. A little bit of confusion,
and I believe the chain gang is going to come out, get an exact measurement. That was close, but I do believe he was stopped short. We'll see here officially. Official walks out with the chains. They'll stretch it out here to see. And that one is short. It will be 4th down.
Well, see what they do here. I think if you're Mason, you got to try and go for it. You've been running the ball pretty well to start out. The pass game has been solid from this first drive. Obviously, you cannot get this ball back to this East offense. They're hot right now.
And a drive that started well for Mason could fizzle out here before they get into the red zone. And it looks like indeed Sheaf and his offense are staying out there.
Maybe we'll see.
Seems like they're going to try to get East to jump. It is a sneak, and I'm not sure that one's going to be close.
It looked like he got pushed a little bit. We'll
It's all
see
going
what
to
they
come
call.
down to that ball spot, and the chain is moving. I believe they're going to give it to him.
From my angle, it did look like he got past, but
Always
going on
hard
the
to
field
tell
is
in high school
yeah.
on those sneaks. Nonetheless, Mason stays out here on offense, and they've got a good drive going.
Yeah, it's something that they did not do at all last week. Trying to get their first offensive touchdown here of the season.
Almost equaling their yard total from last week. From the whole game, only had 64 yards. Here's a screen to McDaniel, and it's bobbled. It was a forward pass, though, so it will be marked dead, and 2nd and 10 coming up. A big blunder there.
Very close to being a fumble. Called a forward pass. That would have been huge for East.
And Cohen Reap was in the area, but I think it bounced off the ground. Adesanya escapes a bullet there. Mason will get to continue their drive.
Yeah.
They come back out, shotgun. And a blitz up the middle here, and it will end up stopping Adesanya in his tracks. 3rd down and 12 coming up.
Nowhere to run on that one. East was ready for it, on top of him.
And what do you have drawn up for 3rd and 11? Not much in the playbook for these kind of 3rd and longs. They're going to have to air it out here.
Yeah, if you're East, you got to look for that rollout that they do. Can't let somebody get open on the sideline. Make him throw it in the middle of the field. Try to force a bad throw. Or even try to get a sack here.
Here we go, shotgun formation. Sheaf takes the snap. He does roll out to the right, trying to find something. It's passed. I can't tell if he caught it from here. They're going to mark it inbounds, but I don't know if he got the 1st down or not.
Heck of a catch. Diving down for that one.
And
couldn't really tell from here, all the East.
Chains moving again. Another 3rd down conversion. Mason seems to have ironed out their problem from last week.
Definitely. Those 2 pass plays rolled out right, almost the same exact play. Got to look for that all game if you're East. If you're Mason, you got to be happy with this drive they're putting together. Big difference from last week.
We mentioned coming in, the heat of this game already got pushed back. Temperature would have been in the hundreds. It's in the 90s. Both defenses not want to be out on the field for this long. And a flag going to be, I think, delay of game on the offense.
Interesting there.
And that's just communication error. They'll be pushed back 5 yards.
Talking about those penalties, it seemed last week every time East had something going in the 2nd half, penalties would always just push them back, and that kind of killed their momentum. But penalty here for Mason. Hopefully East doesn't have those problems this week. It's never fun to see a game with 100 yards of hidden yards of penalties.
For sure, but you could say for both sides of the ball, Mason also had over 70 yards in penalties. Both these teams lacked discipline last week, and they're trying to change that here.
100%. Both coaches definitely talked about it in film session, in practice. Got to iron out those, because that's what really can make or break a game is penalties.
Both teams huddled up here. They'll come out. That was Mason's first time out of the game. They are knocking on the door of the red zone, only about 10 yards out, trying to get their first offensive touchdown of the year.
East trying to show what they are made of. Can they get a stop here close to the red zone?
1st down and 10 then. Ashton Sheaf has been perfect except for the one bobbled screenplay. He steps back on this one. Finds a hole, but he's met by Cohen Reap, and the rest of the East defense follows behind to stop him after a gain of about 2.
Cohen Reap not going to get faked by that move. Stops him in his tracks. Looked like they had him for a sack almost, but able to step up in the pocket. Could not escape Cohen Reap, though, and the rest of this East defense.
Nice heads-up defense there to make sure someone had their head on a swivel. Senior Cohen Reap did. Makes the big stop. 2nd down and 8. Pistol formation. McDaniel's back in there. We saw a read option out of this last time. See if they do it again. Sheaf will hand it up off the middle to McDaniel, who finds a little bit of a hole, but he's stopped, and it will be 3rd and 5 here at the 25-yard line.
McDaniel as the backup back last week at 7 attempts, 14 yards, averaged 2 yards a carry. Got a big run there. About 3rd and 4. East cannot let them convert here.
Here we go, 3rd and 5. Mason huddles up. They've been perfect on 3rd down so far. They hope to continue that here. Adesanya sub back in. Back in that pistol formation. Wouldn't be surprised to see that read option. Sheaf takes it. It's a handoff up the middle. Again, gonna be close. Not sure if he had enough.
Well, if this is the first, they're gonna mark 4th.
4th down and inches. You gotta think you send out the kick team here.
I'm not sure. Do they?
I don't know.
Looks like
This is a
they're
tough
staying
one.
on the field. Kicker did make a kick from, I think it was like 23 last week. 1 for 1. But I think if you're Mason, you're hungry for your first touchdown of the season. Maybe
East.
try that QB sneak again.
Lining up against this QB sneak. We saw it before. Might try to get them to jump. It's a handoff to Adesanya, and he's got a big burst up the middle. 1st down in the red zone.
I think East was expecting that QB sneak again. 2 for 2 on 4th down on this drive for Mason. They are grinding the ball down the field.
This has been a long drive. East's drive was only about 6 minutes. This one has gone on for almost 8 minutes now. And they're just grinding away on the ground. Like I said before, this is that kind of offense that will wear a defense down, and East has got to stop them eventually.
Especially in this hot weather.
Here we go, back in the pistol formation. Sheaf sends Miller in motion. Handoff to Adesanya on the left. The defensive end bit, and it gave a big hole to Adesanya, who takes it for a 1st down.
Big run from Adesanya. Now you're inside the 10. Clock winding down in the 1st quarter. Mason just grinding this ball down the field. If you're East, you gotta capitalize on those 3rd and 4th downs that you've created.
1st and 10. Clock winding below 30 seconds. They don't have to snap it. I take that back. 14 seconds left on the play clock. They will have one more snap in this 1st quarter. Lining up in the shotgun. 1st down will be a handoff to Adesanya, who makes one guy miss, and I think now he's going to have enough for the 1st down.
Number 10 shot right through there. Could not bring him down, though. Gets the 1st down. And now you're inside the 10. That's going to be the end of the 1st quarter.
That will do it for our 1st quarter. We will step away for just a second. Stick with us. Second quarter here in the Hawks' Nest. This has been a long drive by the Mason Comets, over 8 minutes long, and they're trying to punch it in here. They're inside the red zone. Out of the pistol is Sheaf. He's been perfect on this drive. Hand up over the middle, and this time it's swallowed up by Cohen Reap in the backfield.
Nowhere to go. Cohen Reap showing why he's the anchor to this defense. Got in there instantly and stonewalled him.
Man, that was a big tackle. He knew what they were doing before they even snapped the ball. First time we've really seen a run play blown up from this Mason offense. And you got to wonder what they talked about during that break, as Mason's pretty much had their way on the ground so far.
This has been a long and grueling drive. Defense got a little bit of a break during that first quarter end.
Sheaf takes the snap, rolling out, finding somebody. That one is overthrown. No one even in the area. And a 3rd down and 10.
Well, that's what Mason loves to do. Obviously, they love to roll out right. I think a guy was a little bit open there, but overthrown. Maybe a little bit of inexperience shown from this quarterback.
And that's really just an awkward angle to throw from, running out to the right. Not a lot of room in the red zone. Nonetheless, 3rd and 10 coming up.
If you're East, you got to expect a pass here.
Interesting to see what they'll do here on 3rd down. Same pistol formation we've seen many times on this drive. Stepping back, Sheaf gonna try up the middle. East read it eventually. He's gonna be stopped at about the 4. And I don't believe he has enough for the 1st down.
Well, he's done that a couple times this game where he stepped up in the pocket, looked for a run, able to get 5 there. Got to think they are sending out the field goal unit. Yes, they are. Wow, long drive from Mason. Only going to end up in a possible 3 points.
And classic football term, bend, don't break for this East defense. That is a long drive, and to have it only end in 3 points has got to be disappointing. Gogles, he's perfect on the year. There's a chip shot. The snap's good. Kick is up and through. 7-3 the score. That was a long, long drive, and East will finally get a chance on offense.
Well, a disappointing end to the drive for Mason. Their first offensive touchdown of the season is going to have to wait. Definitely took some of the momentum and spark out of this East offense from that huge drive. Wonder if they'll come out as hot as they did on their first possession. I mean, you got to think they will.
Especially with this heat, there's no way they come out cold. Man, it is a scorcher here in the Hawks' Nest.
Whew.
And Mason, got to think that that defense is sweating after that long, I believe, over 20-play drive.
Well, 2 4th downs converted, couple of 3rd downs, but on the most important 3rd down, East stopped them. Going to get down to about 79 tonight in the later parts of the game. Right now, still sitting at 90 degrees. Hey, at least it's not 100.
As the sun goes down, not nearly as much of a problem. Nonetheless, Zion Neal is back to return the kick. East has surprisingly only had 1 offensive possession, like we mentioned before. That was a long Mason drive. They have got to be eager to put some more points on the board. Gogles looks ready. Feels like a millennia ago that East had the chance on offense, but nonetheless, here comes the kickoff. It's down the middle. Fielded by Neal, he'll take it out. Trying to find a hole, a good block. Got a little bit of room, and he's to the 40-yard line. A big return by Zion Neal.
Such a dynamic returner and wide receiver. He's really the star of this offense. Without, other than JT Kidda, he is the star of this offense. Such a dynamic returner. Had a huge return last week of about 33 yards. Another big one there. Got to think East is going to be excited to get back on the field. Such a smooth first drive they had.
Really, and now we get another chance to talk about that tandem backfield. Ryder Hooks is finally back for East. Didn't play it all week 1, but him and Chauncey are splitting snaps about 50-50. No running back out there right now, though. Kitna by himself. We'll motion Neal to him for some company. And a handoff to Neal up the middle. He's got a big hole. And if he wouldn't have been tripped at that line, that would have been a touchdown.
Something we didn't see really much at all last week from this East offense was giving runs to Zion Neal. But there gets about 8 yards on that. 2nd and 2. Got to be happy with this run game.
2nd down and 2. East already ahead of the chains. JT Kitna by himself once again. Stepping back. Pressure comes, and he'll go down for a sack. Not sure what happened. 3 Mason D linemen came in there unblocked.
Yeah, that's something that was tough for East last week, was going up against the blitz. Third quarter, Centerville came out and started blitzing heavy, and that's where they got flat.
Credit that sack to those 3 starting D linemen, Noah Dowers, Brian O, and Nicholas Cravens. Cravens had the scoop and score for Mason's only touchdown last week. A 3rd down and 11. After what was a good start to the drive, East is now backed up. In the shotgun, 3 receivers out to the top of your screen. Kitna steps back. He's going to air one out. Neal's got room, but he is way short of that first down marker.
Good throw and catch. I don't think, he did not catch that. I think he dropped it, which is a rare drop from Neal.
Hard to see from here. I believe he bobbled it.
Yeah.
4th and 11.
Unfortunate. Gonna have to punt this ball away. Freshman kicker out there, A.J. Fitzstevens. Had a couple of punts last week. See what he can do here.
And that's disappointing for this East offense after that long Mason drive, a 3 and out.
Yeah, well, you got to think that Mason drive really took the momentum out of him. Oh.
It's a fake punt. Kitna loads one up. He's got Peck, and it's caught. What a play on 4th down. The trickery works.
John Kitna loves his trickery. What a catch from Chauncey Peck. What a throw from JT Kitna.
And I believe that was actually Carter Jones who came out. And I think these refs might be saying that he bobbled it.
Well, that's a heartbreaker if they called it incomplete.
Yeah, and they did. I'm not sure.
But it was a perfect throw. Had to dive out for the catch. Couldn't secure it.
That is a heartbreaking turnout there. I thought for sure he had that one in his grasp. Here comes the East defense now backed up in their own side of the field.
Got to think Mason's going to come out with the run again. East going to have to make another stand. Shorter field position, so maybe they won't take the rest of the second quarter off the clock.
Yeah, we lost a lot of game clock last time Mason had the ball. Here's a handoff to McDaniel to start the drive. East saw that one coming, no gain.
East is seeing these runs better as the game goes on. Cohen Reap, not on that one, but actually I think it was Cohen Reap on that one.
That was Miles Metz in the
Miles
in the
Metz. Gonna have to stop that run game, force them to throw the ball.
And Mason gave up some sacks last week. Seems like they're ironing out those holes on the O-line, but on that one, there was an obvious hole left for Miles Metz to get back there.
It's a new O-line for Mason, who lost a lot of players last year.
Sheaf lines up with McDaniel to his side. Takes the snap, looking, fires one. He's got his tight end there. Hawthorne's got room to run, and he's down to the 5-yard line. And the ball came out at the end of the play. It rolls out of bounds.
I think they fell on it before it went out of bounds.
And East is going to have possession.
Wow.
What a development on what would have been a 1st and goal for Mason is now a 1st and 10 for the East offense.
Well, not exactly where you want to be on the field, but anytime your defense can make a play like that, you will take it. Wow.
Man, that would have been a big play for Tristan Newhouse, the tight end. He lost it at the end.
Big forced fumble there, came up behind him.
Wow, 4 East guys came up. They punched that ball out.
Just barely,
that is a momentum shift
barely
for sure.
Not fast enough to outrun this East defenders. Big play. Got to get out of the shadow of their own goalpost, though, here.
And Neal was almost left by himself on the bottom of your screen, but the corner came in there. Kitna's in his own end zone. Fires one to Neal, who drops it on the screen pass. 2nd and 10.
2 drops from Neal. Not what you really see from him.
And I believe
just got to get it moving.
That one just thrown a little before he cut back on his route. Peck comes back in here as well as the other East tight end, Isaiah Harrington. 2nd and 10, backed up at their own 5-yard line.
That fumble means nothing if you can't move the ball at least a little bit here.
In the single back. Handoff to Peck, trying to find a hole. Swallowed up by a swarm of Mason D linemen, and it's 3rd and 10. East has not been able to move the ball yet.
Apart from the first drive, East looking a little dry here on offense. Mason's defense is definitely the name of the game for them. Making big plays here. Got to try and get this first down. Air it out.
This is a 3rd and 9. Got to be careful, though. Don't want to have a sack in this part of the field, give up a safety, and give Mason the ball. Got to expect a blitz coming from this Mason defense. Kitna puts Neal in motion.
Blitz does come.
Fires it out on the screen. That one just couldn't connect. 4th down, and this is a scary part of the field to punt from.
Just a little bit overthrown to Neal.
And
Gonna be tough to punt from for the freshman.
This is probably the hardest part of the field to punt from.
Yeah.
These linemen are gonna have to be on their A game.
I doubt we will see another fake here.
Back to return this one, Kaiser Wilhelm. The punt is up. That one is a shank. It's going high in the air. Fielded at about the 40. He bounces back on it, though, and he's stopped at about the 45.
Not a bad punt at all. Definitely one that went straight to the moon, but backed him up to about the 50. Returner had to back up a little bit. Almost looked like he was going to drop it, but secures the catch. Now East defense got to come out again and get another stop.
Yeah, I believe everyone was full with that punt. I thought that one was going to the 20, but it carried and carried. They're back at their 45. This East defense looked good on that last drive. Almost gave up the touchdown, but punched it out at the very end.
East just got to get the offense moving again. East defense is playing good.
It is hard to win a game when the score is 7-3. You got to score more points than one touchdown.
100%. That Mason drive, almost 20-play Mason drive, that really took all the momentum out. Got to try to recapture it here.
Sheaf in the pistol. Adesanya behind him. It's a handoff to Adesanya, and it's a false start on Mason. We'll push them back 5 yards.
It's 2 penalties on Mason now, none on East. Good discipline here from Lakota East.
Both teams playing better than they did last week in the penalty category. Both had over 70 yards in penalties. 1st and 15 will be coming up now, and Mason backed themselves up before their drive even started. Haven't seen them air it out too much besides those rollouts. Back in the pistol. Sheaf motions Reed. Handoff up the middle to Hawthorne. And he is stuffed.
Nowhere to go.
2nd and 15. Elam with his first tackle for a loss today.
Saw that coming from a mile away.
And that looked like those two leaders from last week, Cohen Reap, Parker Elam. Parker Elam had 2 sacks. Cohen Reap had 10 tackles, and both were stout seniors there on that East defense.
So this East defense has taken a huge leap in production from last year. Cohen Reap, Parker Elam, the veterans on this team, stopping this Mason offense here.
And the team improved over 46,000 pounds in the weight room over the offseason. And it's showing here, 2nd and 16. Sheaf, a keeper to the right. He rolls out. He's got Demetrius Stanley following him. He's able to cut the corner, breaks 2 tackles, another arm tackle, and a big play there by Sheaf. He's eventually taken down after a first down.
Not sure what happened there. Able to roll out, run down the field, a couple missed tackles. Big first down run for Mason.
Looked like a couple of whiffs there on that East defense. We've seen a lot of sure tackles here, but on that play, not the best form.
I thought he was winded. He was just tying his shoe.
Sheaf huddles up his offense. That was the biggest play of the night for Mason. And another grueling drive coming up. Sheaf is back in the pistol. They've liked this formation so far. Reed goes in motion to the right. This time a handoff. Adesanya is able to get about 4 before he's tripped up.
Looked like he had a little bit of a hole there, but tripped, taken down. And Sheaf is not particularly a fast runner. Just on that play, was just able to keep moving forward and breaking tackles. Not what you want to see this on East defense. Got to make those tackles in the open field. Cannot let him do that, especially on a 2nd and 16. So really, they had him backed up. Unfortunate.
And Adesanya, Sheaf, not the biggest guy either, but on that play, he was running like a fullback. Everyone was bouncing off of him. Sheaf lines up here on 2nd and 8. Steps back, and a big sack there by Schroyer. That O-line just collapsed.
Nowhere to go with the football, and that will tally 4 sacks on the season for East. 1 away from tying their mark that they had all season last year. Big play from this East defensive line.
And I know that Sheaf does not feel good after that one. He was sandwiched between Miles Metz and Carson Schroyer. Both linebackers coming up to make a big play, and East 1 sack away from their total from last year.
Big 3rd and 12 here. Out of field goal range. Got to try and make a stop here.
3rd down and 12, like you mentioned, coming up. Sheaf, a keeper. He's got room. And he's stopped about 3 yards short of the 1st down. Mason has liked going for it. Let's see if they continue doing that here.
Big tackle from Cole Miranda. Looked like he had a lot of space. Just got low, tripped him up, saved a 1st down.
And a big thing that has improved in the offseason are those linebackers. Obviously, Cohen Reap returning, but Schroyer, Miranda, we see Miles Metz out there all playing up this season, making some big plays. 4th and 5 coming up. Under center here, Sheaf, and that, I believe, is going to be offsides.
I think they got a little confused with the sudden motion of the receiver. Got me too. I kind of jumped a little bit.
Good fake there on 4th down by Mason. We'll give them a fresh set of downs. This drive continues. You mentioned at the beginning, maybe this one wouldn't be as long as a drive, but it is. 3 minutes left in this 2nd quarter.
I mean, that East did not have a lot of defensive penalties the last game. Had one there, though, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, and this defense can just not stay off the field. Sheaf got it. Fixed the throw, going up the middle. Stopped after a gain of about 8 by 3 East defenders.
I've been surprised. Sheaf's just 5'11", 180, but he's running like Cam Newton out there. Not afraid to step up and go to the middle of the field and take hits.
Yeah, definitely playing with some confidence that he was lacking last week. And these fake play actions are working on East, which in contrary last week, Mason was fooled by a lot of that, but here we see them using it themselves. Almost a West Coast offense. As Sheaf in that pistol once again. Motions Adesanya to the left of him. Handoff up the middle, and Adesanya is stuffed. A little push, not sure if he has enough for the 1st down.
It looked like he got pushed by both teams for about 4 or 5 seconds. Not sure where they're going to spot this football.
And 3rd and 1.
3rd down and 1. Big 3rd down here for East. The more 3rd downs you can generate, the more likely your offense is going to get the ball back. They're not going to convert on every 3rd down.
Yeah, and you say that, but so far Mason has.
Yeah.
They were down here earlier and they were stopped. Let's see if East can do it again. This time a sneak.
Oh.
He's pushed back. The ball came out. He was down, though.
Might have gotten enough on the initial thrust.
Yeah, had a good first run there before he was swallowed up, and they will move the chains.
Able to get the ball to the 1st down before he was pushed back. Good play from that quarterback.
It isn't 1st and 10, 1st and goal yet. It is 1st and 10 from the 12.
Mason still trying to get their first offensive touchdown of the year, and we're almost at halftime of the 2nd game. Looking like the New York Giants out here.
1 minute left. in the second quarter. They have truly run out this entire game so far. This time a handoff stuffed by Adesanya. Nowhere to go. 2nd and 10.
Getting down in this part of the field, calls a timeout there. Clock stops, 51 seconds. Getting down in this part of the field, if you're Mason, you haven't had a lot of success passing the ball per se. And running the ball, it seems like East is stopping it when you get down in the red zone. What do you call here? What do you draw up?
They like those rollouts in the first quarter. They kind of went away from that here. I think it's just a matter of this part of the field is just hard to do anything at. I mean,
100%.
you get it within the 5, you have a lot more options, but from that 15 to 10 yard line, you're too far away just to run it in, and there's too many guys in that end zone on the secondary for you just to pass it.
Yeah.
This is a tough part of the field.
A lot different type of mentality on offense than we saw last week with Mason. They had almost no time of possession, only able to run about 40 plays of total offense. They're going to have 40 plays before halftime of this game. Yeah. Totally different than what they played like last week.
This offense has stayed on the field for an unimaginable amount of time. I'm shocked. I mean, last week, Gahanna Lincoln had 39 minutes of possession, and Mason only had 16. They've run more than 16 minutes off this clock so far. 2nd and 8. They choked at this part of the field last time they were at it. Here is Sheaf to the handoff to the right. Adesanya is tripped up, a big stop. And a 3rd down and 8 coming up.
Big time tackle. Offensive line was not able to move him at all.
Hurry up offense. They're back lined up. High snap fielded. Hand up over the middle. There's a hole. He stopped eventually.
It's going to be 4th down. Well, they tried to catch him off guard there. Not able to. Big stop from this East defense.
Big play there by Miles Metz. We mentioned those linebackers again.
Not wanting to send the field goal team out there. 4th down and 8. They will send it.
Going to be a timeout called. We will step away for just a second. 30 seconds left in the second quarter. And this long drive, it is going to end up with a field goal after some discussion. Goggles is out there. He made his first. This is another long drive that ends in a field goal. Snap is good. Ball is up. And it's good. 7-6. That another long drive from Mason. They still have not scored a touchdown on offense this season.
Well, barring a disaster here, they are going to go 6 straight quarters without an offensive touchdown. 22 seconds. Got to think that's not time to really do anything at all if you're East. Probably will see a kneel down here. Maybe a return, though. Zion Neal is back there. He's been great as a return man.
And this is just a really interesting predicament that has formed in this game. East's offense came out firing. That first opening drive had what seemed like a script. And then after that, long Mason drive, 3 and out. Another long Mason drive, 3 and out. And then again, a long Mason drive. They haven't scored in a long time. They haven't even had the ball in a long time. I mean, East needs to keep possession here coming out of the second half because Mason's just going to keep running the clock.
Mason will get the ball to start the second half. If you're East, you got to come out in the third quarter and get a quick stop. Cannot let them move the ball like they have been doing. No touchdowns, bend but don't break defense, but you don't want to keep playing that way, especially if they're getting field goals on these long drives.
This has been a physical first half for this East defense. Halftime's going to have to be about recovery. Get hydrated, drink a couple Gatorade, or eat a couple Gatorade gummies. Get yourself back focused with the right mindset. Kickoff here. Zion Neal's back to return it. And the sun has gone down in the time it took East to get back on offense. Here we go. A squib kick over the middle is fielded, and he'll just go down at about the 20-yard line. And expect to see Kitna just to take a knee here, end this first half.
Yeah, don't want to try anything that could end up badly. Probably going to take the knee. Hope the defense comes out in the second half, gets a quick stop. That's really what I think killed East last week, was coming out in the third quarter, looked a little bit flat, couldn't get the offense going till the fourth quarter. Got to do differently. Got to do differently here.
22 seconds left in the first quarter. We talk about East being conservative, taking a knee, but can't forget the fact they literally faked a punt in the first half. So expect to see John Kitna try some trickery.
Interesting look. Does not look like victory formation.
No, and we know Kitna likes to air it out down the field. He's got his best receivers out there. Derek Williams, P.J. McFarland, Zion Neal, and Chris Boyer. Discussion going on between the refs, not too sure. Looks like we're ready, though, to play some football. 20 seconds left in the first half.
Taking a
confusion. Play clock hasn't started. I'm not sure what the confusion is down on the field at the moment.
Not sure. The East does have Christopher Boyer and P.J. McFarland, two big targets, and of course they have Zion Neal.
And as you say that, Chris Boyer is subbed out.
Oh.
Chauncey Peck now back there. Here we go. 1st and 10. The clock now down to 21 seconds. It's a screen to Neal. He's got a little bit of room, and he is blown up after a gain of about 6. Clock continues to run. I don't think East is going to stop the clock.
And that will be the end of the half. East up by 1.
So after 2 quarters of football in the Hawks' Nest, that was a pretty lopsided first half possession-wise. Both teams will go to the locker room. We'll take a break, and we'll see you back for the third quarter. Welcome back to the Hawks Nest. A very interesting first half. We saw a lot of Mason's offense and very little of East's offense, to say the least. Beck, do you have any more insight on that?
No, other than Mason held the ball for almost 19 minutes while East only held it for 5. Mason's just grinding the ball down the field, using their run game, and they've had some big runs from their quarterback that has kept them in these drives. They will get the ball to start this half. East has got to come out and stop them. You got to stop them almost instantly. Try to force a 3 and out. Can't let them do what they've been doing that first half.
Yeah, and it just seems like Mason gains just 4 yards consistently every single play. It'll be like 3rd and 2. They'll be stuffed. They'll go for it on 4th down and get it every single time. They've been almost perfect on conversions.
Yeah, well, when they do get it to 4th down, they get it in short yardage. Almost every 4th down that they've converted, it's been 4th and 1, 4th and 2. We saw a little bit of a tush-push QB sneak that happened twice. A run up the middle on one of those 4th down plays. Just grueling football, running the ball down the middle of this East's throat.
Yeah, and I think East has had a couple of standout guys, Cohen Reap obviously, and he's had pretty much all the tackles on this East defense, but ultimately they haven't been able to get too many stops.
Yeah, pass coverage has been good. Quarterback not been able to really get comfortable throwing the ball. He is 5 for 7, only 66 yards. Kitna, on the other hand, who leads the GMC in passing yards, only 3 for 8 with 49 yards. That's mainly because he hasn't seen the ball at all. In one of his drives, he was at his own 2-yard line.
Yeah, East seems like they stop a drive that goes on for about 10 minutes, and then their offense is out there for about 3 plays. And it's not entirely their fault. They were backed up in their own end zone for one of those drives. But they ultimately just have to come out of this halftime fired up. They got to score more points because at this rate, Mason's going to run even more time off the clock, kick another field goal, and they have the lead in that scenario. So East is going to have to start stopping them. They've been bending and not breaking, but they're going to just have to stop them in their tracks on these upcoming drives.
Yeah, Mason still looking for their first offensive touchdown. I've said it a bunch, but haven't been able to get one here. None last week. Got to think they'll try for it here. I mean, you have to. Interesting, East's first drive took just 2 minutes and 12 seconds, 8 plays, 80 yards. The next drive, a full quarter, 11 minutes, 23 seconds that ended in a field goal, 21 plays.
That is unheard of in high school football.
That is.
I just want to stress to the audience how strange that is. That is an entire quarter of football gone. Long, grueling drives. This East defense has got to be tired out, and they've got to be grateful to have a 15-minute halftime to catch their breath.
Trying to use the hot heat and humidity to their advantage, I guess. Trying to tire this East defense out. Like you said, though, they've been bending and not breaking. East still has the lead.
Yeah, I think that is the most bizarre part of all of this. Mason has had the ball for almost 4 times as long, and they have only 6 points to show for it. East has been having that mentality of bend, don't break, but their offense is only on the field for less than 3 minutes at a time. They've got to have a long drive, get some momentum going, and really just kind of bury Mason. And if you're Mason, you got to just keep doing what you're doing. You're slowly but surely scoring, and eventually you got to break a long play of some kind.
Yeah, if you're East, you got to have your defense come out and get an instant 3 and out. Get the ball back to that offense who is going to try to do what they did on their first possession.
It'll be interesting to see if East makes any changes to that defensive scheme. And it's such an awkward position to be in because your defense, they aren't playing bad. They're just playing for way too long at a time. They need to just get a 3 and out and stop them in their tracks, force a punt. We haven't seen Mason's punter yet this game.
Exactly. East defense, in my opinion, they've played great. It's just the chains move on them. When they get down to the red zone, they're able to stop them. When they're in the middle of the field, they're able to contain the big plays. It's just these 3-yard runs that Mason's getting almost regularly, consistently, every time. Got to stop that this second half.
Should be a very interesting second half to continue this very interesting football game. Kickoff is going to be a short one. Looks like they're going to try an onside kick. And Mason's able to field it. The kicker's able to push him out of bounds, and Mason will start their first drive at about the 50.
Well, that looked pretty bad for East there for a second. Took a bounce. Mason player jumped it. Almost looked like he was going to house it, but kicker does make the tackle. Going to start at about the 50.
Yeah, credit to Tyler Gruber for making the touchdown saving push out of bounds. And we've seen Mason start with the ball here. They drove down, and in that red zone, they stall out. It'll be interesting to see what they run here in the second half. They've loved the read option, those rollouts, and they most of all have loved the pistol formation, which is what they're in here to start this first drive of the second half. Blitz coming from East, and Adesanya is buried in the backfield.
Blitz there. That's what East had against them last week at Centerville. It was the blitz that killed them. They come out with it here, not letting them run the ball on that one. Mason's going to have to find another way to move the ball.
Schroyer just blew up that one in the backfield. Adesanya broke the first swarm, but the second swarm took him down. 2nd and 13 coming up. And while both running backs haven't been able to find too much room, really Ashton Shea, the quarterback, has been the guy on the ground for Mason. And here we see him again up the middle, and he is absolutely pummeled there over the middle by Cohen Reed.
Clotheslined. That's what he's been doing all game, though, is he looks receivers downfield, and then he tucks it in the middle. Offensive line doing a good job giving him a lane when he doesn't have any receivers. Running there, I mean, he got rocked, but he got right back up.
And I don't even think that those plays are designed to be passes. I think those are just simply quarterback draws. And you got to think East during halftime talked about maybe having a QB spy because he's done that so much, and it's part of the reason that these drives last so long.
He is their leading rusher. In the first half, he had 37 yards on the ground, averaged 4.1 yards a carry.
Cohen Reap came in there, swarmed him, and ultimately Schroyer is able to bring him down, but he is able to throw it away. Not sure how he stayed up long enough to do that.
Not sure there. Avoided the sack. That would have tied East's sack total from last year. That was big. Big 3 and out. Getting the ball back to his offense. Got to put some points on the board.
And a happy sight to see if you are an East fan. Zion Neal back to field a punt for the first time today.
Bobbled one last week.
Wilhelm sends it up. That is a nice punt. He's going to let it bounce, and it has backspin. And oh my goodness,
wow.
What a down inside of the 2-yard line.
A perfect punt. Had the perfect amount of backspin. Zion Neal could do nothing there. Thought it was going to bounce to the end zone. And East is backed up again. This is going to be tough to get out of. They were backed up on the other side of the field in the first half. Could not move the ball at all. Just not what you want to see as an East fan.
Yeah, coming off that fumble that they forced in the first half, they were backed up inside their own 5. 2 quick incompletions and a run that went nowhere led them to punt it. They will try to not repeat that here. Kitna once again is backed up in his own end zone. He'll send McFarland in motion. Handoff to Peck, who's got a big hole. Good block. He's got room to run down the left side. He could be free. He's gone. He's to the 50. It's a foot race. He stumbles. He's going to stay up. Oh, my goodness. A 90-yard touchdown, and East has taken a 13-6 lead.
Wow. What a run. Just found the hole. Outran all the defenders. Going to be a flag for celebration, it looks like. Does not matter, though. What a run.
Oh.
I thought for sure he was going to get pushed out, but able to stay up.
Oh, my goodness. What a block on the corner there. I believe that was Derek Williams who had the big play there. And, man, Chauncey Peck just outran the entire offense. We've talked about Ryder Hooks missing, but I don't think they're missing him right now. A 94-yard touchdown. That one is one that's going to be remembered for a while here in the Hawks' Nest.
That was huge. Backed up in their own goalpost. One play. They're calling it a 98-yard rushing touchdown.
That is a new Lakota East record. Longest touchdown ever.
Wow. Wow.
Oh, my
Chauncey
goodness.
Peck.
He is fired up down there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Look at this crowd. Record breaking.
I mean, even if you're Mason, you got to give some credit. Chauncey Peck just ran the entire span of the football field. Got to contain their emotions a little bit here as Fitzstevens lines up for the extra point.
It's moments like these where you really wish high school football had more replays, you know?
You definitely want to see that one again. A little bit of confusion here on the extra point.
Well, first quarter, they went down the field in 2 minutes. Second half to start, first play, 94-yard rushing touchdown.
98-yard rushing touchdown.
98.
Once again, a school record. And I think, I'm not sure what the confusion is here. I think they're pushing them back on the extra point because of the excessive celebration. That's caused a little bit of delay here.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to prompt East to maybe try for 2. And I think you just felt the momentum in the stadium shift on that run.
100%. Looking at Mason's sideline, it's just staring. Just not really sure what just happened. Even if you're an East fan, you're not really sure what just happened.
I would be lying to you if I told you I knew what was going on right now. I don't know why East is currently pushed back at the 35. I thought maybe for a second they took the touchdown away, but it's still 13-6 on our scoreboard. I'm not sure what's going on. I believe the excessive celebration might have pushed them back all the way to the 30-yard line.
That is wild, and you cannot.
As Kitna's got pressure, loads up, and it's incomplete. I have never seen that before in any of my high school games that I've
commentated. I didn't
commentated.
think it would get backed up that far. Still up by a touchdown. Momentum is all on East's side right now. You can't blame them for celebrating. It's a school record.
Yeah, you don't have moments like that very often, and
got to celebrate them when they happen.
So East up 13-6. Mason now is being forced to answer. A field goal will not cut it anymore.
Yeah, it is do or die for Mason scoring touchdowns. You got to get your first offensive touchdown of the year. Like, this is the moment to do it. Tie this game up. Got to try to recapture that momentum that East just stole away from them.
And if you're Mason, you want another one of those long, grueling drives, but you want it to end in a touchdown this time.
Yeah, you got to either hope for the big play or you got to find different ways to score down in the red zone. It seems like when they get down there, they're not really sure the next play to call. It's what happened last week against Lincoln Heights.
So, the story of this game continues. East started out with an onside kick that didn't go anywhere. Then they stopped Mason in their tracks, scored a 98-yard touchdown. However, the possession game is still heavily in Mason's favor. Let's see what happens here. Fitzstevens is ready to boot it away after what was a confusing extra point sequence, to say the least. And Mason will finally get a chance to answer.
Big kick.
Fielded back at about the 5. He's got a little bit of room, and he's ultimately stopped at the 30-yard line where Sheaf and his offense will try to answer back.
Solid return. Got to try to move the ball more. 3- and 4-yard runs. It's been doing it for them. They've been able to move down the field. East able to stop them last drive. Got to start thinking that maybe the 2-yard, 3-yard runs might not be the way to go.
Yeah,
especially when you're down by a touchdown now.
They were able to afford those in the first half, but I believe East has switched up their game plan during halftime, and they're expecting those for sure. Sheaf and Adesanya are back out there to try to answer for Mason. Sheaf takes the snap. First play will be a handoff up the middle, and he'll roll forward for about 4.
Big tackle there from Isaiah Harrington. Flag gets thrown.
I believe another unsportsmanlike conduct potentially. I'm not sure. There was a little bit of extracurricular after that play.
He's pointing at the Mason side of the ball. Of course, everyone does that when a flag is thrown. Not really sure. Holding on the offense.
Wow, that is big, as Mason is going to have to start their drive now from the 20 with a 1st and 20.
Backs him up.
It is a personal foul, a 15-yard penalty.
Wow.
And a loss of down.
Wow. Can't do that if you're Mason. Cannot do that. Not in a moment like this.
Wow, and I believe that will be a 2nd and 25. 2nd and 21. And now Mason is backed up to a point where they're going to have to try to throw the ball.
Yeah, definitely.
Sheaf not known for the biggest arm. Could see some trickery. Steps back, empty backfield. He will try to take it, and a good tackle there by Harrington, who let him go nowhere.
He's fired up after that one.
His first tackle on the year is a big one for a loss, and if that one counts as a sack, East has totaled their total from last year all season.
Big time play made from the D-line. Isaiah Harrington tracked him down, brought him down. Oh, it's not going to be a sack. 3rd and 18, able to get 3 yards on that rush.
3rd down and 18. Not a lot you have drawn up for this scenario.
They've converted on these longer 3rds down before. Rolled out right on the first time, threw it to their tight end. God, can't let them get it here.
3 guys out wide to the top of your screen. In the pistol once again, he steps back, fires, and that one's just no good. Out of reach of the tight end, Miller Reed. 4th down and 18 coming up, and we should see the punt team once again.
It was great coverage there. Had to kind of force the throw. Incomplete. Punt team comes out. This East offense has a big opportunity to put this game a little bit out of reach.
And it seems like everything that we addressed coming out of halftime, East has fixed. That defense is playing fired up. That offense, 1 play, 98 yards. I mean, you can't draw up a second half any better than that. Here comes the punt. And this one not as good. It'll bounce out of bounds at about the 44 of East's side of the field. And JT Kitna and Chauncey Peck will come back out for their next drive.
I believe Ryder Hooks is out there.
And I think just that big run is also just going to give a huge boost to this O-line, who struggled a little bit towards the end of last game, but that's got to be like a dose of caffeine for this O-line.
And not sure why they're backed up.
I believe they're just huddling, going over what they're going to play here. Ryder Hooks has got to be hungry for his own 98-yard touchdown now.
Yeah. Got to think they might start throwing the ball more with Kitna. Only 8 attempts. 3 of them have been completions. For someone who threw for nearly 300 yards last week, he's not really gotten the chance to heat up like he did.
Yeah, but he hasn't really had to. We thought they might throw a little bit more in the second half, but he hasn't even had the chance. They've only been on the field for 1 play. Ryder Hooks is in the backfield for this one. In the single back is East, and it's going to be a handoff to Hooks, who's got a hole, and he's going to have room himself. He could be gone. 1 more to beat, and he ends up going down at about the 25. Oh, my goodness. East, 2 big runs in a row.
It was the same rushing play that got him. You got to be deflated if you're Mason's defense. He just got beat on that twice in a row. Big run from Ryder Hooks. He is back. Now Chauncey Peck is into the game. This run game has been East's bread and butter.
Man, I did not see this coming out of halftime, but we do not see a lot of under center for JT Kitna, but it is working right now. Ryder Hooks was upset he had to come out after that long run. Play action here. Kitna loads up. He's got a guy in the end zone, and it's a touchdown! Jaden Shea, his second catch on the year, is a score, and East goes up by 2 possessions.
What a throw from JT Kitna. Put it right on the money. Big catch from Jaden Shea. And East is rocking.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the most fired up we've seen the Hawks Nest in the last 3 years of East football.
This game is electric. East almost looks unstoppable right now.
And it seems like we're seeing a completely different team than we did last week against Centerville. They seem to have ironed out all those faults. All that work they put in over the offseason seems to be paying off in week 2. First conference game, and right now it's looking like it's going to be 1-0 for East. As 8 minutes remain in the third quarter, 2 short drives. Both these running backs approaching 100 yards rushing. Chauncey obviously already there with the 98-yard run. And Mason now has a deep hole to climb out of.
Yeah, if you're Mason, you got to start throwing the ball down the field more. This is the moment where you got to start airing it out. East really has just all the momentum right now. On fire. What a throw from JT Kitna, like I said.
I mean, that's exactly what you want to run as an offense. 60-yard run and then play action. Jaden Shea was wide open. That was just an easy toss.
Oh, yeah.
And Kitna adds to that yard total with a long passing play. I believe it was about 42 yards. And I think Mason is just stunned after those 2 drives.
Yeah, gonna have to try and get back into the headspace to try and get back into this football game. Looking a little bleak right now. Not quite sure what John Kitna said during the halftime speech, but man, it is, whatever he said, it has worked.
This East team is fired up, to say the least. Fitzstevens lines up to boot it away. Mason couldn't do anything on their last offensive drive. They're going to have to now. The kick is fielded at about the 30. Big man fields it and goes out of bounds at about the 35. And Ashton Sheaf has got a little bit of work to do, to say the least.
Yeah, it's tough to say what you got to try to do if you're Mason. Passing the ball, not really been working. Running the ball, East has shut it down this half. Got to try and do something. Maybe add a little trick play just to get the offense moving again.
I think what stumped them last drive was that personal foul that backed them up so far.
Yeah, that
when
was
they
huge.
can stay ahead of the chains, this offense is dangerous. But when they get backed up like that, not the best passing team, not much on their play sheet for those situations. We see McDaniel out here on first down in the shotgun. Sheaf fields it, looks for the screen. Looks like he's going to try to get out of the backfield. There's a flag down.
Could be holding. Don't know if that would have been a sack, though.
It's going to be holding
Will
on
be
that
holding.
offense.
Yep.
Man, Mason is shooting themselves in the foot right now. That is the opposite of what you want.
Well, he had nowhere to throw the football, and he just kept his eyes downfield, and it just nowhere to go. Got tackled from behind. Does not matter. Holding call. Backs him up 10.
And it is hard to tell if this Mason offense is planning these QB draws that they run, or if Sheaf just isn't seeing something downfield. In the first half, it was working, but I believe East has just put Cohen Reap on a spy, and it's just shut down this quarterback run play.
Yeah, hard to get around Cohen Reap. Quarterback, he did run well in the first half, but not this half. East shutting him down right now.
This is a 1st and 20 now. Trying to get them to jump. He's able to stay back. McDaniel to the left side, able to get about 3. 2nd down and 17.
One thing I've noticed this year is East's run defense has gotten so much better than last year. They get to the ball carrier quick. They bring him down when it's one-on-one. They're just doing an amazing job tackling and stopping the run game this year.
For sure, and John Kitna obviously in his locker room pushes the brotherhood, and I believe on every single run play, we've seen at least 3 East defensive players swarming to the ball carrier. It's like they're all on the same page, especially in the second half. They're really stepping it up, and whatever they're doing right now is working. 2nd and 18. Sheaf rolls out. He'll probably try to find someone in the flat, and he does. There's Jordan's first catch of the game, and he gets about 7. 3rd down and about 5.
Tried that rollout again. It's going to be 3rd and 11, I believe.
3rd and 11. Hard to see the chains.
Yeah, that holding call really backed them up. I mean, they got 7 yards, and they're still back 11 yards. Would have been a first down without that holding call.
This East defense has shut down the 3rd down offense of Mason in the second half. They'll try to do it again here. Those rollouts are designed for only about 5 or 6 yards, not these 3rd and long situations, so it'll be interesting to see what they run. Out of the shotgun. And a false start there. Looked like Adesanya was too eager to get blocking.
Yeah, just to jump, and that's going to back him up even farther now. 3rd and 16.
And getting down like this late in the game, it's hard to keep your discipline levels up, but right now, Mason had only 5 yards of penalties in the first half, and they already have over 30 in this second half.
Yeah, just not looking very strong coming out the second half, and that's what plagued East last week was they didn't look strong coming out the second half. Completely different from week 1. They have come out unbelievably strong. It looks like
that one could go either way. It is going to be a false start. I did think that left guard jumped.
Yeah, East
moving back again is Mason's offense, and they continue to make this 3rd down even harder.
East has been very good this game with not committing penalties.
This brings up 3rd and 21, and at this point, you got to just air it out or something.
You got to try something. Maybe hit that tight end you have. That's what they did down in the green zone in the first half. Fortunately, tight end fumbled it on the 1, but that play went for more than 21 yards.
3rd and 21. In the shotgun, 2 guys out to the top and 1 at the bottom. Sheaf has got it. He steps back, fires over the middle, and he is blown up there. What a hit by Miles Metz over the middle.
Man.
And 4th and 21 coming up as a result.
Man. Oh, looks like he is down. Got hit so hard. Probably got the wind knocked out of him.
Yeah, with the injury timeout, we'll take a quick break. Hope he's okay. We welcome you back. Dunn was able to walk off on his own power. As the punt coming up here by Mason. This is a good one. A line drive that bounces with some Some rollback, not what Mason wanted. Will set East up at about the 39-yard line, and this unstoppable second-half East offense will come back out there.
Looks like another flag was thrown. I'm not sure what it was on.
We've had a lot of interesting calls in this game.
Yeah.
The one after the long 98-yard touchdown that ended up having the extra point at about the 30.
Yeah.
This is going to be holding on East, which will push them back. We saw the unsportsmanlike conduct by Mason, which pushed them back on one of their drives. And these refs have had a tough job today, to say the least.
Yep, but East back on offense. Scored a touchdown their last 2 possessions. 98-yard school record-breaking run from Chauncey Peck and a beautiful throw from JT Kitna.
And don't forget that wrong 60-yard run we saw from Ryder Hooks at about the same, I believe it was the same play.
Just absurd that he is able to come back from a broken collarbone the very next week.
Yeah, he suited up last week, didn't play. Derek Williams is going to have 8 to start this drive.
First screen pass that East has thrown. They did that 6 times to start the last game. That's just the first of this game.
Yeah, and I think East saw some holes opening up in that first half on the run, on those short times that they did have the ball, and they just kind of exploited it now. So
Definitely.
Hooks wants his own touchdown now. He was hungry after his 60-yard run. He wanted to stay out there. Here comes the pistol. Kitna motions. Calling out the mic. Kitna handoff to the left. Here's Ryder Hooks. He's exploiting that left side again. He's got a hole, and he's out of bounds at the 50.
Something on that left side. Just holes are open for East. Another big run from Ryder Hooks. Run game is cooking right now.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's number 77 there, Tyler Meadows, who's opening up that left side. Derek Williams has had a couple great blocks on the left side runs, but every single run of that side has gone for more than 10 yards.
JT Kitna not really even needing to throw the ball if this run game is working like that.
We saw this formation on the last 2 long runs, and again, it's a handoff, another hole. Ryder Hooks cuts back, and he's got another first down to the 45.
Very similar looking run plays. They've been working. Mason defense not been able to stop it. I mean, why would you change from it, you know?
Yeah,
it's working like that.
It's Mason sees it coming and just can't stop it. This Mason defense is not bad against the run, but this happened to them last week too against Gahanna Lincoln. I think it's partially just tiring out through just constant running, and you give up 2 long run plays, you're going to be gassed on defense. As Ryder Hooks lines up deep in the backfield in the single back formation. Play action. It's a read option. Sorry, I believe halfback screen supplies, no flag came. Ryder Hooks was just tackled before he can even catch the ball. I believe Tyler Meadows just fell on top of him.
Yeah. Don't know if the defensive player meant to do that, but he completely blew up the screen by having Tyler Meadows fall on top of Ryder Hooks.
Unfortunate development for East. Chauncey Peck is back in the game. It's a handoff to the right side this time. He cuts back inside, and he is stuffed on the right.
Hammered on that one. Tried to run it right, stop, cut up, but just got hammered on that one now. 3rd down. East is able to throw the ball very well, as we've already seen.
Expect some play action on 3rd and 10.
Yeah.
Kitna likes to sit back and find a guy deep, and this O-line has been giving him time to do that today.
Yeah, 100%. The protection from the line and the lanes that this line has been opening up has been fantastic. Kitna only sacked 1 time. He's getting the time he needs to look down the field, throw the ball, and that's perfect.
Play clock just ran down to 2, and East will take its first time out of the second half. We will step away for just a second. We welcome you back to this third quarter, and interesting to see how much longer this game lasts when Mason isn't running 20 play drives. Still 4 minutes left in the third quarter. This game far from over, but East has all the momentum right now. Kitna steps back in the shotgun on third down. Trying to find a man. That one is tipped up. That was a dangerous throw. 4th and 10 coming up, and we should see East punt team.
Well, just trying to step up into the pocket, throw down the field to get the first down, tipped in the air. Luckily, it was not intercepted. Staying out there on 4th and 10.
And don't be fooled. They have run a punt out of this formation before, maybe trying to get Mason to jump.
Kitna is capable, and he is backing up.
They love to do this to try to pin them deep. That is a nice punt by JT Kitna that bounces backwards, unfortunately for East. And that one will stop at about the 32. What looked like a good punt to catch them off guard, bounce back about 15 yards.
Derek Williams trying his best to stop it before it could roll any further. Still, Mason's offense not able to do anything. East defense has been stout. Got to think they're going to keep it up here.
And all 3 of Mason's drives coming out of halftime have been pushed back immensely by penalties, and they end up with things like 1st and 20, 2nd and 21, pretty much impossible scenarios to get out of. They want to start this drive with some discipline and not have any dumb penalties.
Yeah, got to avoid the penalties.
1st and 10. Sheaf lines up in the shotgun. Blitz coming from East. That one a handoff to the left. A little bit of a hole as he's stuffed eventually. Gain of about 7, 2nd and 3.
Some really hard hits from this East defense. They're not afraid to go up and just boomstick you. Got about 6 yards on that run there. I think that was longest run play of the half for them.
Yeah, I believe
Definitely
so. They
the longest run play in a while for them.
Haven't really had any success. And good news, Brandon Dunn went down in the third quarter. He is back out there after that hit over the middle. Handoff up the middle to Adesanya, who gets about 2. I believe he's short of the first down. 3rd and 1 coming up.
Another 3rd down and 1. They've been doing a great job converting these. Obviously not afraid to keep running the ball. It worked for them in the first half. Just trying to get that rhythm back, these long drives. They just got to put the ball in the end zone when they get down to the red zone.
A completely new group coming in on O-line for this 3rd and 1. And I would not be surprised to see that QB sneak that they like to run on this 3rd down.
Definitely in
and
that
here it
formation.
Is. Almost a tush-push like Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. They line up trying to get it, and he just found a hole, fell forward. Free first down for Mason.
Ran around and slid. Smart play for Mason there.
Yeah, definitely how you draw it up there on 3rd and 1. East seemed just not really ready for it, pushed everyone up the middle, and Ashton Sheaf wisely took it out to the left and slid down 1st and 10. For Mason, their first down of this second half. Mason still in search of their first points on the season. I apologize for that loud music there. Pistol formation. Sheaf hands it off up the middle, and a hole develops there for Adesanya. He takes it for about 8.
Ends were crashing down on him there. Able to just bust through the middle. 7 yards, 6 yards. Going to bring up a 2nd and 4.
And images of the first half kind of resurfacing, those long drives. Again, a 21-play drive. That is probably the longest that I have ever seen in high school football. As Sheaf hands it up, and there is Cohen Reap to blow him up in the backfield.
Wow. Cohen Reap have a night right there again. Suplexed him.
Showing off those muscles. He took Asanya and threw him back. 3rd down coming up, and they have got 9 yards to go if they want to convert.
Wonder if they will try the rollout again. Really the only pass play that has been working for them.
And I believe we've seen this formation where Sheaf goes back as if he's passing and it ends up a QB draw. They've liked that on 3rd and long as well. And that is what we're going to get. I don't even know if these are designed passes as he tries to break loose. Cole Miranda able to stop him. He's not able to get the first down. And 4th and 4 coming up, and I expect to see Mason's offense stay out here at about the 50-yard line.
I am really shocked at how well he's been running. Just 5'11", but he's out there. It feels like it's taken the whole defense to bring him down. Good job by Cole Miranda, able to wrap him up, stop him before he gets the first.
Yeah, Ashton Sheaf playing like a fullback out there. And I don't know how they keep catching East off guard on these QB draws. They've ran it over 10 times now, and every time it seems like those linebackers are fooled. 4th and 4. Pistol formation coming up. Sheaf and his offense stay out there. They say handoff. It's going to be an end around. Brandon Dunn, he's got some room on the right. Ultimately, though, he does break one tackle, breaks the corner, and a first down. A missed open field tackle there gives Mason a new set of downs.
Had me fooled. I thought it was a run. End around, though, does work. Big pickup on 4th. I think the clock's going to just run out here.
That will do it for this 3rd quarter. We have one more quarter to go. We will step away for just a second. Welcome back to the Hawks Nest. 4th quarter, 12 minutes left to go. Mason on offense. They had an end around work, gave them a new set of downs. They try to continue this drive. Rolling out to the left here. That pass is incomplete. Good break up there by Connor Cruz, the senior.
That's the big tight end, number 87, Miller Reed. Only had one catch last week, not able to bring it in there. Big play from Connor Cruz.
It's the first time we've seen Mason roll out to the left. Good job by East catching that one, not letting it develop. And I think East is just in man coverage expecting run almost every play right now.
Yeah, I mean, Mason, that's really the only thing that's been working for their offense is running the ball. So you got to expect it every time they run it. And even when they come out and pass, they do the QB draw.
And here we see a read option to the right. Ashton Sheaf again. He tries to hurdle. Somehow stayed up. Oh, my goodness. Ashton Sheaf is having a field day on the ground.
Did not expect to see a hurdle there. Big run. Kind of looking like how he did in the first half. East, got to slow him down here.
You mentioned that comparison to Cam Newton in the first half, and he went for the Superman jump on that one. I'm not sure where this came from. Last week, Ashton Sheaf was sacked a lot, and this week he's just running all over this East defense. This scoreboard does not reflect how well he's played running the ball.
Yeah, well, this is where they've really struggled down here in the red zone. Going to see what they do here.
Run to the right is stuffed by Cohen Reap again. He has been all over the field tonight.
They just have not been able to do anything in the red zone. That's what happened last game. That's what happening this game. 7 quarters now without an offensive touchdown. This might be their best opportunity.
Not an ideal problem to have. You can drive the ball well when you're Mason, but you can't score in the red zone. I'm not sure how they get out of this slump there, and they still have not scored an offensive touchdown this season, and they've definitely had the opportunity to. In the shotgun is Sheaf, trying to get East to jump, and there was some confusion there. I'm not sure
could go either way
who this one's going to be on. It's going to be offside on the defense. Mason will get a free 5.
Well, that brings Mason closer.
2nd and 5 coming up. And Mason is just desperate to get some points that aren't a field goal.
Yeah. Who will be the player to break the seal?
Ashton Sheaf lines up in the pistol with Adesanya behind him. In motion, Miller Reed. Snap to Sheaf. He's got a lot of pressure. It's designed that way on the halfback screen, and a big tackle is going to end Adesanya's run before he can get in the end zone.
Cole Miranda running up out of nowhere to lay the hit. Does get the first down, but a touchdown-saving tackle for Miranda.
First and goal. The first time they've been inside the 5 tonight, and you got to think this is where Mason can punch it in if they're going to.
If you're East, you're looking for another red zone stop. Make sure this game can't get back to one possession.
And credit where credit's due. Every single linebacker in that East core has had some solid tackles. Not too many misses in the open field up the middle.
Yeah, they've been able to swarm the ball really well.
It's first and goal for the Comets.
Clock will tick below 10 minutes left. Still only a 2-possession game, and Mason is knocking on the door. Sheaf lines up for the snap. He takes it. It's a handoff to the right side, and Adesanya is going to get in for Mason's first offensive touchdown of the 2024 season.
Able to hit the edge, get it into the end zone.
This now a 1-possession game.
If you're Mason, that's the spark you needed. And if you're East, you got to go back out there and put more points on the board.
Here is Gogles. He's perfect on the year. Has not missed a kick yet. Snap is good. Kick is up, and it is through. 7-point game in the Hawks' Nest. East now has to answer with some points because Mason has finally got that offense going.
Yeah, and it's all been on the back of Ashton Sheaf. Those big runs definitely helping them move the ball down the field. Other than that, they were not able to move the ball at all, but the big runs, the attempted hurdle, got them down there, and then a penalty helped it even more. 9 minutes on the clock. East got to try and bleed as much clock as they can, move the ball down the field. The end goal here is obviously touchdown.
And they've been successful in doing that, except for their last drive. Things got a little bit out of hand, but the run game has been something that has worked incredibly well for East in the second half. Obviously, the 98-yard touchdown we mentioned before. School record, 64-yard run by Ryder Hooks. And if there's ever a time where East is in position to run out the clock, it's this game.
Yeah, especially with the way Mason's offense moves the ball. They take a lot of time off the clock. They don't have a huge big play ability. Got to just try and shred as much as you can, move the ball down the field, sustain runs. That's what you got to do.
Gogles and the Mason kickoff team look ready to boot it down the field. Mason sideline fired up. Another long drive for them that finally ended in points. A squib up the middle, a high bounce fielded by Carter Jones, and he will wisely fall down on it at the 30, where JT Kitna and his offense will come out there.
Smart play to not try and run it. Just catch it and fall down. Don't want disaster. And if you're East offense, gotta avoid the turnover.
Let's see what East comes out with here. They've had a lot of success on the ground in the second half, but still have not had a drive go for more than 7 plays, as all their points have come off of quick, big plays. They hope to draw one out, chew some of this clock.
If there's ever a time to do it, it is right now.
Neal in motion, handoff up the middle. No, it's a fake, and Chris Boyer's got a big hole over the middle. He's got one guy to beat, makes one miss, and he's wrapped up from behind after a gain of about 40.
Had everyone faked on that play. Chris Boyer, what a route, what a catch. Able to run all the way down the field, big play.
Wow, that couldn't have been drawn up any better. It even had me fooled. A beautiful fake handoff. And Mason was caught off guard by that last week, and we see it there again.
Chris Boyer, so tall, able to just outrun the corner for about 60, 70 yards all the way downfield, and this East offense is fired up right now.
They are almost in the red zone again at the 22-yard line. Ryder Hooks is back there. We've seen this formation twice already, and both of them have been huge runs.
Definitely going to wait.
And if I was betting on this game, I would bet that this is a run to that left side.
Oh, yeah. It's really been the only run play that has broken them for more than 10 yards all game, and it's been working. Ryder Hooks in the game.
Kitna seems not happy about the spot of the ball. He believes that Boyer was further downfield when he was finally stopped. Obviously no challenges in high school, but both Kitnas there, John and JT Kitna, were not happy with the spotting of that ball. Nonetheless, they are almost in the red zone. This is the single back formation we saw the long 98-yard touchdown from. This time it's a toss to the right. Hooks goes up the middle. There's a flag down, and he gets about 9 before he goes down.
3 flags on the field.
It's going to be holding on the offense. That will push them back, and a little bit of momentum is sucked out of this East offense.
They've been really good this game, avoiding the penalty. It was a big 10-yard run. Not what you want to see.
Peck will sub back in. Shout out to Ryder Hooks coming off of the broken collarbone. He looks like he was never injured.
Yeah, he's been great this game. Him and Chauncey Peck. What a running back duo.
East huddles up here. They're going to have to dig into their playbook a little bit on 1st and 17. Got to think Kitna is hungry for another passing touchdown. His receivers are fired up right now as well. Peck motions, goes to the right. Kitna fires the screen to Boyer, and it is blown up there in the backfield. Tackle there by Cameron Hunter.
Mason ready for that screen. Chris Boyer had to get low to get that one, not able to get back up. Now it is 2nd and 17. Got to try to get into field goal range here for East. Can't finish this drive and still have it be a 1-score ball game.
2nd and 16 coming up. And credit to that Mason defense. They've pretty much shut down Zion Neal in this game, but it has left the other receivers open for big plays. Kitna in the shotgun, fakes the handoff. Looking deep, pressure coming, and he is way back. He's trying to find something. He does force one downfield out of bounds, and I'm not too sure that was the smart decision by JT Kitna. A little dangerous.
Well, very ambitious there with that throw. Very worried he was going to get sacked, but so good in the pocket, able to move and evade sacks. Just out of bounds in the throw. Unfortunate 3rd and 16 here. Got to try and move the ball, get it in at least field goal range.
And I'm going to take a page out of Tony Romo's playbook here. That one looked a little Mahomey back there in the backfield. He was trying to do a little bit too much. 3rd and 16 coming up. And a big storyline for East, no turnovers. It's a big reason why they have the lead here. And there's a flag thrown by the back line judge, and East push back again, false start.
Well, this is what can break a team. These penalties, when you get down in scoring position, backing up. Gonna need a big play here.
Here we go. 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter. This is a 3rd and 21. Kitna steps back. He's gonna run. Trying to make a guy miss. Gets a good amount of the yards back, but that was a long way to go, and it will be 4th and 10 from about the 23. And we should see the East field goal unit.
Looks like Kitna signaling them to stay on the field. They will. Maybe they're trying to get this defensive line to jump.
And I mean, at this part of the field, if you give Mason the ball back, they have taken a long time to get down the field. Obviously, their run game is working, but it might be too slow here in the fourth quarter for them to drive all the way down with one of those long, long drives. 7 minutes left in the fourth. And I think this is just some trickery from East to try to get them to jump.
Yep.
Timeout called by East. Should see the field goal unit come out after this one. We'll take a quick break. Welcome back. 7 minutes and 10 seconds remain as the East field goal unit is out there to try to extend this lead to 2 possessions. Fitzstevens had one blocked last week. This one is up. It's carrying, and it is good. What a kick by Fitzstevens. He fell down.
No good. Wide right.
Oh, it looked good from up in the press box.
Had the leg.
Unfortunate there, but Mason is still backed up at about their own 25, and they have taken a long time to get down the field.
Yeah. Gotta contain that quarterback. That's really what was working for them last drive. They only have 7 minutes. They like to drain the clock out.
Whatever East was doing on defense coming out of halftime, they need to go back to. I don't know if it was a QB spy, but on that last drive, Ashton Sheaf took off. As he lines up in the pistol, this is an important drive. Stepping back, screen pass to Adesanya on the right. He's got DJ Stanley on him. He's able to break a tackle, and I think he's got a first down.
Just a screen pass there that was able to get a little bit of a lane. That will move the chains. Clock's ticking. Gotta make a stand here. The East defense cannot let Mason get the ball in the end zone.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd ever be saying this, but 6.5 minutes might not be enough for this Mason offense. They take a long time to drive down the field.
First down on the first play there, though, but the way they run their offense,
keeper there by Shea is wrapped up by Harrington in the backfield, and that is a huge tackle for loss.
Not fooled that time. They're not letting him run all over them like they did last time. Tackle for loss. It's going to be 2nd and 15.
And Sheaf had all that momentum on that last drive, running all over the field like Cam Newton right there. He is stuffed on the right. 2nd and 15. Mason backed up now, and they haven't had a lot of success when they get backed up. Here is Asanya up the middle, makes a lot of guys miss. Another arm tackle. He's tripped up, though, but he has enough for a first down.
East has been really good all game, getting those open field tackles. Not there, though. Down to 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Mason moving the ball up to the 40 now.
Out trots Sheaf. They are moving the ball. They're almost at midfield with 5 minutes remaining. Handoff up the middle by Adesanya gets them about 4. They continue to stay ahead of the sticks.
Nowhere to go that time, though. Still, these 3-yard, 4-yard runs. Not sure how many yards that was that time. 3-yard runs. It's been working for them all game, but now you only got 5 minutes left. You're not going to get down the field that quickly, especially when you need a touchdown, running the ball for only 3 yards.
And they haven't had the most success in the red zone either. This game really might come down to a red zone stand on defense and whether or not. Whoa, that one was almost jumped on by Harrington. That would have been a pick 6, but either way, he's stuffed after about 2. 3rd and 7 coming up.
Dangerous throw. You saw the hand fly out there from Harrington. Catch not able to go for anywhere though. Gonna bring up a third, and I don't think he.
Third and 6.
Only
I
gained a
can't
yard.
stress enough how close that was to being a pick 6. Harrington was almost gifted the ball.
That would have sealed it 100%. Big third down here for East.
McDaniel out there at running back this time. Sheaf lines up, rolls out to the right, trying to find somebody. Nobody's open. Pressure coming. Elam misses him. He's got Brandon Dunn on the rollout pass. Somehow he was able to find someone in the flat.
It looked like he was going to get sacked about 3 times on that. I'm not sure how Dunn was able to get open, and what a throw it was. Rolling out right. What a catch, too.
Man, Sheaf coming in clutch. And East just plagued by those missed sacks they had. DJ Stanley almost get there. Parker Elam barely missed him. I mean, you got to take advantage of those moments this late in the game. Nonetheless, though, credit to where credit is due. Sheaf looked great rolling out. Handoff to McDaniel up the middle. And Cohen Reap and a slurry of East defenders stop him after a gain of about 3.
That time. 4 minutes already drained off the clock. I think you're right, Max. I think it's going to come down to a red zone stand.
Field goal not enough to do it. They have to score a touchdown. Even with a touchdown, though, it will only be a tie if they go for the extra point. We might get overtime football, but only 2 minutes and 57 seconds remaining for this Mason offense to get in the end zone. Here's Sheaf trying to find somebody in the flat there on the curl route. He's got, I believe, Jordan on the catch. And a gain of about 8. Running a little bit of a hurry up here as they run closer. No 2-minute warning in high school. They do have all 3 timeouts. Hand up the middle to Adesanya. I don't know if he had enough.
I believe that's going to bring up 4th down. If it does, though, a little bit of a, not quite sure what's
I think the
happening.
ball came out at the end of that play, but I do believe that the refs called it dead before it did come out.
Well, Cohen Reap on the ground for a long time after that one. I think.
Yeah, the ball popped out at the end of that run up the middle, but I think the refs had already called it dead. Unfortunate for that East defense, but 4th and 2 is coming up. This is probably the most important play of this game.
100%. Mason's done a great job on these 4th downs, these short yardage. They've done the QB sneak. They've run it up the middle. Got to expect something just up the middle, load the box, stop them from getting this 1st down, and win the game.
East student section is fired up. 4th down and 2. We see it, the QB sneak formation. Will Mason be able to get it? And I expect them to try to get East to jump.
East got to stay disciplined here. Cannot give them the free 1st down.
Not sure what the confusion is here. Had a lot of interesting calls throughout the night. But here we go.
Oh,
For real this time. We got a 4th and 2. We see the QB sneak formation. Will he get there? Sheaf rolls out, and he stopped short. I believe that is going to be East ball, and what a stop by this East defense.
I couldn't even see who had the ball when the ball was snapped. Someone had it, and they got stopped. That is huge in the biggest 4th down of the game. East been getting beat all game on those short 4th downs. The one that matters the most, they get it done. What a job from this East defensive line. Now all they have to do is get a couple 1st downs, run this clock out. What a play.
And the stop was made by who else? Number 14, Cohen Reap. We've seen him all night. He got there first.
Star of the show on defense.
Mason has wisely kept all 3 timeouts. Sorry, they only have 2 remaining. They have a chance to get a couple stops, and that time they'll get one of them. Chauncey Peck is swallowed up in the backfield. And the first timeout is going to be called by Mason. We'll stay with you as they should call a few of these at the end of this game, trying to stay in it.
I think if you're East, you got to avoid throwing the ball. You don't want that interception or incompletion. You don't want the clock to stop. Run this ball one more time, 2 more times. They'll take their other timeout. You'll shave 40 seconds off the clock. You'll punt this ball away. And the offense that cannot move the ball very well through the pass game is going to have no timeouts and a long field to go with only about a minute left.
2:07 remain on the clock. 1 timeout left for Mason. And can't stress enough how much this East team has come up in big moments tonight to make stops when they need to. There's been a couple of iffy drives. Obviously, they allowed a 21-yard drive, but they end up making the stop in the red zone. They allow another long drive, another stop in the red zone. They've only allowed 1 touchdown tonight, despite being on the field for most of the game.
Yeah, it has been great bend but don't break football from this East defense. They've looked strong all game. Got to close out the win here on offense.
The running game has been strong in the second half. Out trots the East offense. Here we go. 2nd and 11. Chauncey Peck still out there. Remind you, Chauncey Peck broke the school record for longest rushing touchdown with a 98-yarder earlier. He's going to try to ice this one here. Toss to the right side. The linebacker is there. East is going to be stuffed again.
Mason obviously expecting the run, able to break a couple. Couldn't get too many yards there. Dog pile at the end of the play.
There, a timeout called. I believe it was called by East. Hard to tell. The ref's not signaling. 1 minute 59 left. We are going to step away for just a second before this. Welcome back. 1:59 left, a crucial play. Mason still has 1 more timeout. If they can stop East on 3rd down, they've got a chance to get the ball back. Neal goes in motion. Kitna in the shotgun, steps back. It's a keeper for him to the right. He's got some room to run. He will ultimately be short. It'll bring up about a 4th and 3, and this game is not over.
Mason is going to get another chance to try and tie or possibly win the game with a 2-point. If you're East, I think you 100% punt here. Mason's offense takes a long time to get down the field, even with their 1 timeout. And there's 0 timeouts left now.
Yeah, definitely punting. This East defense is fired up right now, specifically those star guys. Parker Elam was fired up after that stop. Cohen Reap obviously fired up after that stop. This linebacker core has been playing elite on this East defense. They've just got to continue that here. 1 minute 50 left. Mason, not a team known for being able to push the ball downfield quickly. And I think just something interesting to talk about is the polarizing difference between the first half, where those quarters were flying by as Mason was just chewing away at the clock. And now this second half, we haven't really seen that crazy long of a drive from either team, and it seems like this game has gone on for a while.
Yeah, for East, all of their touchdown drives have been quick, less than 7 plays. Like you said, they had the 98-yard rushing touchdown, and it's really been just interesting to watch these 2 offenses that are almost polar opposites go at it.
Here comes Fitzstevens. This is biggest punt of the night. There cannot be anything wrong with the snap here, as the snap is good. He boots it away. A nice punt. Fielded. He's turned around, but he's got room, and he's eventually swarmed up by who else than Cohen Reap.
Well, it was a good return, able to catch it, run up the field, get yards. They're going to be at the 30. Good tackle, though.
Wow, this Senior linebacker Cohen Reap has been all over the field tonight. We've mentioned it before, but
It has been his
I feel like
game.
I've said his name more than anyone else on the entire field.
I mean, he has been making all the plays. He is everywhere. Got to think he's going to show up. Most likely last chance for Mason.
And a penalty called on Mason as well.
Oh,
They have
man.
just not had things go their way, and they are immediately backed up to their own 20.
Well, they're going to need it here. They're going to need to have Ashton Sheaf put on a really miracle drive with no timeouts.
I'm not sure what has been going on with penalties tonight, but that penalty has backed them up to their own 10-yard line, and they now have an almost impossible task of driving 90 yards down the field in 1:39 with no timeouts left.
Can he pull a Baker Mayfield on the Rams?
Here we go. Ashton Sheaf has been good tonight, but he's going to have to be even better on this drive. A throw to start out. That one's just not going to be connected to Brandon Dunn. He fell down on that route.
Yeah, fell down on the route. Throw wasn't really accurate. Maybe missed timing a little bit.
And a lot of pressure on Sheaf, too. I mean, you've got a chance to go down and tie the game, but it's a tall task. You're back at your own 10-yard line, and you haven't really chucked the ball very deep all game. That first one, a little wobbly. 2nd down and 10. Sheaf takes the snap and steps back. Pressure comes, and he is stuffed in the backfield. Marcus Osner comes through the middle and blows him up at their own 3-yard line.
Well, Mason's going to have to hurry up to get another play off. Big sack. I think that's going to be their 5th sack of the season. That ties the amount they had last year all season. They've done it in just 2 games.
1:14 left. Rolling out to the right is Sheaf. He's going to keep it. He's stuffed by DJ Stanley and Parker Elam on the right. And a 4th down and 10 with a minute left coming up.
Clock is ticking. Gonna need something here.
And he's got to be careful. No one really on that right side right now. Zion Neal runs over there. Here we go. This will determine the game. Sheaf fires one, and it is caught. What a throw to Brandon Dunn on the left side.
And that was on Zion Neal. That was a big throw and catch, able to keep their hopes alive.
An absolute laser from Ashton Sheaf. That's his deepest throw we've seen tonight, and that one was right on the money to Brandon Dunn. 1st and 10 now. Sheaf got a little bit of momentum in the passing game. He's got it, he'll step back. Immediately fires back to Brandon Dunn, who's stopped in the middle. And East wisely tackling him in bounds. Clock ticking below 30 seconds, and Mason not too hurried right now. I feel like they're not playing with enough pace. The score is 20-13. As that pass is way overthrown, not sure what the communication was on that one, and Connor Cruz was almost able to get that one.
Cole Miranda almost had a game-ending interception. I don't think he was expecting that ball to be thrown there at all.
21 seconds remain. 3rd down and 5. They're at their own 31. They're going to need a miracle.
It's 3rd down for the Comets.
Here we go. The East student section fired up once again. Ashton Sheaf takes it in the shotgun. He's rolling out to the right. He's got a man. That one not going to be complete. Jordan was not able to receive it, and 4th and 5 coming up with 16 seconds left in the game.
Score is 20-13, by the way.
It's 4th down for the Comets.
Mason huddling up. This, once again, will determine the game. Ashton Sheaf came up big on the last 4th down. Can he do it again? 16 seconds left. Sheaf stepping back. He is stuffed in the middle. A big sack there by DJ Stanley will end this Mason offensive drive, and East will kneel it out here. That should do it.
And with that, that is now 6 sacks on the season, more than they had all last year. This game is over. What a performance from this East defense.
4 sacks by that East D line. And Ashton Sheaf has played one heck of a game. But nonetheless, he comes up short. 12 seconds remain, and East will take what should be their first victory of the season, and they will go 1-0 in the GMC. Kitna kneels it out. What a game here in the Hawks Nest. We thank you so much for watching. I'm Max Earl with Beck Lucas. Want to give a big shout out to all of our sponsors, Butler Tech, Spark, and of course all of the Lakota East Broadcasting Club. We will see you next week. Thank you. And big shout out to our boosters as well. Can't forget. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next week.